What if the person you envy isn't real? That's the question the Prime Video series Chloe asks from its opening episode. At first, this seems like a film about obsession and social media, but I think it's really about something much darker. Near the end of the series, one particular scene becomes proof that Becky's greatest deception isn't directed at any one person, it's directed at herself. Becky spends her life looking through other people's windows, not literally, digitally. She scrolls through Chloe's carefully curated Instagram feed, watching parties, vacations, friendship, and a seemingly perfect marriage. Meanwhile, Becky is caring for her mother, working temporary jobs, and living a life that feels painfully ordinary. Social media doesn't create her loneliness, it gives her something to compare it to. And comparison slowly becomes identity. Instead of asking, "Who am I?" she begins asking, "What could I become?" After Chloe dies, Becky doesn't simply investigate, she reinvents herself. New name, new background, new personality. She slips into Chloe's world so naturally that the audience almost forgets she's pretending. That's the frightening part. The deception works because Becky has spent years studying these people from a distance. She's been rehearsing this life long before she ever entered it. But here's where my theory starts to fall apart. If Becky is simply obsessed, why does she form genuine connections with the people around Chloe? Why does she sometimes seem genuinely protective of them? Those moments don't fit the idea of someone who's only manipulating everybody. Maybe this isn't about becoming Chloe. Maybe it's about escaping Becky. There's an important psychological difference. Someone driven by obsession wants another person's life. Someone driven by shame wants to erase their own. And throughout this series, Becky repeatedly abandons identities whenever they become uncomfortable. She isn't searching for Chloe. She's searching for a version of herself she can finally live with. That's what makes Chloe so unsettling. Most psychological thrillers ask whether we can trust another person. Chloe asks whether we can trust the version of ourselves we present every day. Social media encourages performance, not necessarily lies, but edited truths. The series pushes that idea to its extreme. If your identity is built entirely on what other people see, what happens when no one really knows who you are? Earlier, I mentioned that Becky's greatest deception wasn't aimed at anyone in particular, it was aimed at herself. The strongest evidence comes during her final confrontation with Richard, who is Chloe's husband, when the illusion she's been chasing finally falls apart. Until this moment, Becky had convinced herself that Chloe's life held the answers she couldn't find in her own. If she could understand Chloe, maybe she'd understand what was missing for herself. But Richard's revelation exposes a very difficult and different reality. The woman Becky had spent years idolizing wasn't living the perfect life she imagined. Behind the perfect photos and effortless confidence was someone struggling with unhappiness, fractured relations, and her own private pain. That's the turning point. Becky isn't just discovering the truth about Chloe, she's discovering the truth about herself. She built an entirely new identity around a fantasy that never existed. The life she wanted wasn't real. It was a carefully constructed performance. And once that illusion collapses, so does the person Becky has been trying to become. That's why Chloe works so well as a psychological drama. The mystery isn't who killed Chloe. The deeper mystery is why Becky believed becoming someone else would finally make her whole. In the end, Chloe isn't warning us about social media. It's warning us about what happens when we mistake performance for identity. And once the line disappears, it's surprisingly easy to forget who we really are. So what do you think? Was Becky chasing Chloe, or was she just running from herself? If you enjoyed Chloe, join me next week for Obsession. While Chloe explores what happens when someone longs to become someone else, Obsession explores what happens when desire turns into destructive obsession. Both stories ask different questions about identity, relationships, and what happens when our emotions become to take control. Until then, keep looking beyond the reviews and through the fractured lens. My name is Nikki, and as I always say, please have a good morning, a good afternoon, or a good evening. It depends on where you are. Ciao.